Hello, I wanted to go through a quick demo of a new application out there to help you manage your threat intelligence data. It's a local application, so you don't need to connect to a website. It's not hosted in the cloud. All your data stays locally. So why don't we go ahead and get started. We're going to issue a wget command and download the application. For this to work, you need to ensure that you have Java installed, at least Java 8. Right? We've downloaded our application. Now we're going to launch it. And as you can see, the application has launched. There's a couple of different tabs here. The first tab is the IOC tab, and it allows us to add IOCs, delete IOCs, and save IOCs, and search through our existing IOC set. We have an extraction tab, which allows us to copy and paste data and automatically try to extract the IOCs, and then we can add those to our master database. There's a Snort Rules tab, which will allow us to generate Snort rules from the IOCs that we have currently stored in our IOC database. And there's an Alerts tab that allows us to upload files and scan those files against our known IOC data set. So let's go ahead and get started with the IOC tab. We're going to go ahead and add an IP, and we're going to call this backdoor and then made up reference. And you know what? We're going to say this is a medium because it's not really a real IOC. IOC has been added. Now we're going to add a URL. And we're going to call this banking Trojan made up reference. And we're going to say this is a hi, and we're going to add that IOC. Oh, IOC types did not match because I'm adding a URL. So let me change it to URL. Let me add the IOC. And now I have two IOCs added to the IOC set. I'm going to go ahead and save, and it's informed me that I've saved my IOCs to a file called database.txt. Alright, so if I wanted to search, I can type in the IP address. If I had a really large subset, and I could find the IP address. If I was looking for a banking Trojan, I could type in banking and see what IOCs I have related to banking. If I go over to the extraction tab, I can copy and paste IOCs in. So if I come over here to Proofpoint, you'll see that I'm already at an indicators of compromise page for the AZO-Rolt malware. I'm going to copy those IOCs, come back over here, paste them in. We're going to call this AZO-Rolt. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And we're going to give it the reference of the Proofpoint website. And we're going to say this is critical. We're going to try to extract the IOCs. And as you can see, it's done a fairly decent job. There's a couple of things that it detected incorrectly. For example, azo.exe is not a DNS, PHP, index.php is not a DNS, and 5.exe is not. So I'm going to highlight the IOCs by hitting Control. I can select multiple ones that I don't want, and I'm going to click Delete. If I click Delete All, it will delete all of the ones that have been extracted. So if I just delete selected, I've narrowed it down, and I'm going to go ahead and add those. And if I come back over to the IOC tab, I see that they've been added to my IOC set. Let's go ahead and save. It's been saved. Come back over to the extraction. Let's say, for example, I want to look at the data before it gets extracted. This data seems kind of, somewhat organized, but I want to organize it some more. I can click the convert button, and you can see it's kind of narrowed it down. Keep in mind that when I click extract, it's still going to try to identify from this subset of text. So if I convert and things don't convert appropriately, I will be missing IOCs. For example, here, if I delete azo.exe, index.php, and 5.exe, those actually still exist in the end of the URL, and when I go to extract, it will still pick those up as DNS. So whatever I want to get added over to the IOC tab, I need to ensure that I clean it up before doing it. Okay. If I go over to the Snort Rules tab, I can select which IOCs I want to generate Snort rules from. In this case, I want to generate Snort rules from the IOCs that have been added within the last 90 days. So if I want to change it to 5, I can do 5 days. And if I want to do starting SID, change the starting SID to maybe 200,030, I can now generate the IOCs in a Snort format. I can save, and I can save it to the file that I want. Snort rules. And it's been saved. If I want to analyze a log, access logs, or some other type of file for the IOCs, I can load the file in question. In this case, I will load accesslog.txt. And as you can see from the access log, it identified 2 potential indicators of compromise. There was a record for access2malware.com, found alert for threat indicator, and gives you the URL in the description, so this is a banking Trojan. And then you also see the IP address, which you know that this is a backdoor. 2 separate IOCs triggered on 2 separate findings in the access log. And that is how you use this application to control your IOCs and manage them and automatically use them. Thank you.